gonna be honest, I never grew up with Sonic. I mean, I played the game every now and then, but in terms of childhood memories, I'm always gonna be more of a Mario man. I mean, it's not like I don't know of Sonic, it's just that he never really appealed to me. But over the years, my taste for video games kinda changed, among other things. So when I was out with my mom and I saw this game at GameStop, I thought to myself, why not? I've heard very mixed things over the years about this game. Some people actually love this game, from the music to the graphics to the gameplay, while others absolutely despise it. Me? Well, let's find out. I'm SEGA Genesis, and this is my review of Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's see if this game is as classic as the first Super Mario Bros. Game. Members of Team Shadow, video game enthusiasts both old and new alike, who want to see if this game is worthy of your collection or not? Let's get started. The story of Sonic the Hedgehog goes as follows. One day, after running around in Green Hill Zone, Sonic the Hedgehog sees a Flicky being attacked by a robot bug. After quickly destroying it, a Flicky flies out of it. That's when his other Flicky friends that he just saved told him about Dr. Eggman. Or Robotnik. This is before he was called Eggman. I'm just gonna say Eggman because it's funnier, not gonna lie. Anyways, Baldy McNosetails has turned the animals into robots, and we gotta stop him, and that's it. That's the story. Yep, I mean, there's nothing bad with a short and simple story. I mean, nothing big's gonna happen. It's the first game after all, so I'm gonna be a little bit light on the story, but it's really not much. But like Sonic Mania, it motivates you throughout the entire game, which is why I'm gonna give it a C rank, and that's me being generous. Graphics up next, and this one I'm a little mixed on. Okay, don't get me wrong, the sprite work in this game is absolutely amazing, and as a currently being trained sprite artist, I can admire it even more. But something about this game just rubs me the wrong way. I mean, take a look at Green Hill Zone. This looks absolutely beautiful. Now Starlight Zone. Something just doesn't feel right. And this is mainly the background I'm talking about, because the sprites themselves, like, you know, Sonic, our enemies, Eggman, they're all fine, but everything else just feels a bit off, and I can't put my claw on it, and I don't know why. It's probably just a me issue since I'm now a pixel artist in training, but something just doesn't really feel right, and I don't know why. I know I'm repeating myself all over again. That's because I really don't know what is wrong with this art style. But in general, it's pretty good. It's just near the end of the game, it starts feeling a bit off. Like near one of the final areas of the game, I just can't put my finger on it, but something feels like I shouldn't be here, or this shouldn't be in an official game. It feels more like a fan artwork. It's probably just a personal issue. I got nothing wrong with the art style, but other than that, I'm gonna give it a B rank. Next up is the bread and butter of all video games, the gameplay. Starting off with controls, you move left and right with the joystick. You jump with the A button, and if you hold it more, you can jump even higher. If you crouch and rapidly press B, you can spin dash. And there's another move called the drop dash, but I have no idea how to use it. I have no idea how it activates, what the requirements are, but you can activate this in the origin mode of the game. I never really used the drop dash because, again, I have no idea how it worked, but every time I did accidentally use it, I just end up dying. What did I just do? I'm so confused! We don't talk about the drop dash. But moving on to general gameplay, here's how the gameplay normally goes. You run around at the speed of sound collecting rings, and if you get hit, you lose a bunch of rings, but you can still gather a bunch of rings. As long as you have at least one ring in your inventory, you'll be safe. You can also collect shields on this game, and to my knowledge, you only get one type of shield. So the maximum amount of hitboxes you can have is 3. 1 with the shield, 1 with rings, and then you're dead. But there is something severely wrong with this game! First level, Green Hill Zone, is exactly as it was advertised. Gotta go fast and all that stuff. But when you get to Marble Zone, you just stop and go everywhere. And this will be the rest of the game, except in Starlight Zone. But other than that, it's the rest of the game. You stop and go, and every time you try to go fast, you get punished for it. Not to mention the absolute hellscape That is Labyrinth Zone. Now, let me tell you a little something. I like water levels. They're calm, they're relaxing, and they're somewhat of a challenge. But Labyrinth Zone will be the bane of my existence. Not only can Sonic not breathe underwater like Super Mario, but every time he drowns, that annoying tune from Sonic.exe plays, and I know it came from this game first. I'm just saying, I associate that with Sonic.exe. But the spikes everywhere, and the devil's pitchforks come out of fucking nowhere! And just when you think you escaped hell for about 4 levels, oh, it comes back! Let's talk about bosses, okay? Let's just talk about bosses. They're fine. All of them is going to be Eggman, so if you're expecting a little bit more creative differences, then you're going to have to wait for a future Sonic game. The only memorable one to me is 2. The first one in Green Hill Zone is actually a pretty solid boss, and I know that I said in my video I have no idea how to get across here without getting hit, but I can imagine experienced player learning his patterns down and then, you know, beating him on the first try without losing any rings. But the Labyrinth Zone boss fight is everything a boss fight shouldn't be. First off, it's not even a boss fight, it's a platforming challenge. Second of all, it doesn't even give you any rings if you die. You get a shield, don't get me wrong, but you can't pick that up once you get hit. And on top of that, the water's gonna rise in a bit, which means you're gonna die soon. And you better pray to God that you beat this on the first try, because Labyrinth Zone in its entirety took me an hour! An hour to beat! But Mr. Galaxy, there's a point to all the rings. You can collect the Chaos Emeralds, and guess what? I don't care about that. In other games like Sonic Mania or Sonic 2, collecting the Chaos Emeralds gives you Superstar, a really decent reward for collecting them all. Completing a challenge that big will give you a reward so big that you practically break the game. But guess what doesn't exist in Sonic 1? Collecting the Chaos Emeralds just gets you a new ending where flowers appear out of nowhere. And quite honestly, it's not worth it. The gameplay... Wait, no, you know what? Go back a bit. Screw these stages! The special zone is how you get the Chaos Emerald, and I have no idea how the physics work in this game. The goal of the special stage zone is to navigate through the maze to find a Chaos Emerald, which is surrounded by a couple of shields where you have to break through, and then once you get the Chaos Emerald, you have it permanently in your inventory. But the physics! They are the worst physics I've ever seen in my entire life. I can get through some physics in broken games. Hell, Meme Run, I can get through some of it. I understand the physics a little bit. It's a little bit floaty with a heavy weight to it. But this one, gravity is permanently pulling you to the ground. And if you hit the R buttons, they reverse the gravity. It's like, don't know how this works. This thing sucks. The gameplay is a mixed bag. I don't know how to put it, but I'm just gonna give it a C rank. It can be fun sometimes overcoming these challenges, but overall, I just wouldn't do them. Content's up next, and there's not really much here. Well, I mean, there is a bunch here, but in terms of just multiple playthroughs, there's not really much to offer. You have 7 zones in the game, each of them having 3 acts with a total of 21 levels. 23 if you want to count the special stage zone and the final zone, but you know what I mean. If you try to look around the zones, you can find little secrets that have bonus lives, bonus rings, invincibility, and even a shield. Although, heads up, if you're playing this in Origins mode, you will not have any lives, but you will be grateful for that. 2 endings of the game, 1 good, 1 great. There's not really a bad ending, which I am thankful for, and that's it. There's not really much here. Again, I'll be generous since this was from a different time, but in general, there's not really much replay value here. Unless you want to collect the Chaos Emeralds, but even then, it's not worth it. So, unfortunately, I have made the tough decision to give the content a C rank. The only reason it's not a D rank or below is because some of the secrets are actually fun to look for. Plus, if you actually do want to collect the Special Zone Chaos Emeralds, you get a bonus ending for your efforts, which again, I don't think it's worth it considering that both endings are pretty good in general, but you do you. Finally, we come to the thing that accompanies all video games. The music, the bops, the things you listen to while you run from this game because, my god, special stages suck! We all know Green Hill Zone, it's a classic. and hell, to an extent, Rival Zone as well. But the boss themes are also iconic. And the final zone is the best theme in the game. Now, one thing you're gonna know from a Sonic fan is that they'll always say this: the music, no matter what game it is, it's always gonna be great. And I can vouch for that as someone who just beat this awful game. I have no idea what they were smoking to make this beautiful soundtrack, but hey, it must be some good shit. Music is actually gonna get an A rank. Well, this is awkward. While the original Super Mario Bros. Is praised to this day because of its controls and level design, Sonic the Hedgehog seems to have aged poorly. The only way I can describe the level design is archaic. It's designed to feel like an arcade cabinet is what I'm trying to say. Which is weird because this thing was made for the home console. But the stop and go elements, the bullshit traps, the unfair labyrinth zone level, and the mixed bag of bosses really brings down this game. But it's also not a bad game, nor is it a mediocre game. It's just fine. I mean, the visuals are amazing, the music is head bopping, and the sprite work is absolutely great. And the physics of this game, whenever it runs right, it runs really fun. But will Mario age like a fine wine? This one aged like soda. Even when flat, it's still slightly tasty, which is why I'm gonna give it a C rank. If you ever see it in stores, play it if you want to, although I only recommend one playthrough. I'm Miss God's Accounting. This is my review of Sonic the Hedgehog. Do you guys agree with my opinion, or do you think that it's a load of crap? Either way, I'm glad that you decided to stop by and watch my little review. Peace out, members of Team Shadow. Please never stay catty. Live life your own way. Stay safe during these trying times. I'll see you all in a castle. Until next time, adieu, everybody.